So hello and welcome to the live stream, which is an unplanned live stream. So I already apologize to everybody who couldn't participate, cannot participate because, the news came spontaneously due to the price action that we currently see. Some members asked, could we do a live stream? I thought, look, it's actually a good idea because instead of pushing out videos, it's sometimes easier just to, first of all, update the charts in a live stream. And then also to, talk to you about, just explain everything. You can ask questions and everything. Can't promise I can answer all questions. It's always difficult, but we'll give our best here. It would be great if you can hit the like button because it helps just to spread word about this live stream everywhere, and it would be great. Besides that, I think we're just going to jump in. Obviously, a bit of an expected day today, but also unexpected. So that it would come down that much is obviously always something that's a bit unusual. But again, we are in crypto, so a 5% drop of Bitcoin in a day is not unusual, but still, obviously, it's interesting price action. But we did expect another low for Bitcoin. That happened now below the 12th of May low, which is fantastic. So the forecast was correct. I hope that helped you all. The thing is, though, obviously we've had a bit of news around BNB, Binance, being sued by the SEC. Now, I don't really know the background too much, so I haven't really done a lot of research about that. I can't tell you if you should withdraw from Binance or not. In fact, you need to decide that for yourself. I don't know really what, well, I know it's all about, securities law and whatever. I'm not too much into the US law, but the SEC certainly waited until some of the coins were in resistance again. But yeah, this is something that triggered that sell-off today. In my opinion, to a degree, a good thing, because finally we see that flush that we wanted to see, which in my opinion was overdue. We expected that downward move already somewhere here. Yeah, I think it was here actually, where it only formed a double bottom. I often say to you, double bottoms do not hold. They look good on paper, but they often do not hold. And in fact, often they break, and it did break. Okay, so that's so far okay. Shows you that consideration of price action is certainly worth doing because, as I said to you over the last few days and weeks, the move up of the 12th of May low just looked corrective. So it certainly didn't give us any signs that Bitcoin had already bottomed. It's always possible. There's always a chance. But then again, anything is possible. So the move up was only 3 waves in a corrective fashion and certainly not impulsive. Therefore, we did say we wait for another low. Yeah, I was pretty clear about that. Now, before we look at through different coins, just want to take you through, what Bitcoin is doing. The assumption is that we're obviously coming down in this third wave at the moment. And Bitcoin, I always say nothing moves in a straight line. Well, that pretty much looks like a straight line. But the idea is that this could have been already the third wave of a third wave. So Bitcoin might have bottomed in the third wave of a third wave today. And we might now see the fourth and then come down in the fifth wave. So that's all looking good. And it's basically what we expected. And yes, it was a bit faster than expected. But then again, I did tell you throughout the last few weeks that the Bollinger Bands were so tight on the daily. And whenever you move in a framework where volatility is very, very tight, that this is suddenly going to explode, and it did into the anticipated direction. So that's all good. Okay, that's all good. So we're now looking for other coins. So I'm just going to go through the chat, and we want to work through a few coins. I've already seen request here for Solana, so let's just go through this. And again, I can't cover all questions, but I try to pick some up. So feel free to ask some. Feel free to hit the like button, please. I'm certainly going to answer more questions if we get more likes. Nah, joking. Wow, I mean, this is Solana. Certainly the alternative count here, yeah? Because here it was a bit like where I said to you in the previous video today, look, the move up failed to reach the ideal targets for the third wave. So the high B wave still needs consideration. And if we break below the trend line, it will likely send us back into the yellow box, which it certainly did. Now, to really consider this still as a wave 2, it needs to hold 1932. So it obviously did that, but the question is, if we go much lower, it might actually do another low. Yeah, this sell-off is driving most coins at the moment to breaking their support levels. So the idea is, okay, this C wave, the current assumption is this C wave bottomed here on the 24th of May, with that the larger wave 2. And then we said, okay, we can count a 5-wave move up. We're exploring if Solana changed trend. A wave down, rallied in a B wave, and is now coming down in C before we possibly could get another third. Now, this is certainly getting challenged now. I don't know if I have trust that this is going to hold now, because we've come to Bitcoin probably hasn't finished it. Well, but then again, we're now in a everything's oversold again. So let's see. I mean, this is currently holding. Certainly interesting reward to risk from here. I'm not going to change the count, but this certainly was definitely not the impulse to the upside yet. But this wave 1 is still valid, with an A wave down, a B wave up, and a C wave down. But to be honest, it shouldn't go any lower. If it does, then the next support will be 1778. So, all right. So let's look at Gala, which is basically also, I think, doing what we wanted, but it should avoid to drop too far. So I think this was absolutely correct. The triangle choice was the correct one. It's actually surprising that a triangle, I only showed you that triangle count on Saturday, I think, and typically they do some weird stuff, they extend or anything, but this triangle actually broke down directly and very nicely, as it should normally do. So it peaked here on Saturday in an E wave of wave 4. We were waiting for one more dip down to the 78.6 fib level. So I think a scenario fulfilled. Thank you, Gary Gensler. The thing is now, this fifth wave, how low will it go, right? I mean, the idea, and that's what I've been preaching over the last few days and weeks, this is the area where I would expect this wave 5 to be finished. Somewhere between 2.56 cents and 2.1 cent. Because there are a lot of Fibonacci extensions there. It doesn't look finished yet, but it could finish at any time. Looking at the indicators, 4 hour is now oversold. 8 hour is now oversold. Daily is forming a bullish divergence and also oversold. So, I mean, just because you see some bullish divergence, it doesn't mean it's turning around, right? But it means, okay, we've got a heads up here. It's now oversold. And last time we were oversold, price rallied here of the 10th of May low, a whopping 30%. So I'm just saying, okay, again, there's no evidence it's turning around yet. You don't know how much these sort of, how much more this sort of catalyst is driving prices down. For anybody who missed it, yeah, there's been some news that the SEC is suing Binance. So that is most likely. I saw it first when I looked at the BNB chart today, and it just saw that red can. I thought something is not quite right here. And this is where the sell-off started and then spread across different coins. Now, this is now something where I'm saying, okay, next support is down here, $265 and $245. So we have to change, unfortunately, the BNB count. I mean, I did wait for another low, and that new low happened. But obviously, I didn't know that they would sue Binance. So this is driving it down further than this scenario would really allow. So this is not bearish yet. So at the moment, we're counting here a 1-2-1-2 setup. Now the second 1-2 is going. Okay. So unfortunately, so it did follow the count nicely. It did tell us another low would be coming. But I take the support area out now because that's not relevant anymore. And then we talk about what the wave count would be. So sorry, a bit slow because I've got the coffee mug in one hand. So idea is that wave 2 would sit here. Okay, so we've got a reset. Basically, we're using this support area again. Okay, so this is still relevant. And that means what we had here was probably just a WXY structure as we see it on many other coins as well. So we've got something like that, wave W. wave X most likely here, and then A, B, C or whatever. I need to look at that really in detail, but, or rather here, the X wave. So what I need to do now, just 1 second, otherwise I will not update the chart. That's annoying with TradingView at the moment. Okay, so that's all good. Okay, so relevant, and you might hear the dog in the background. Relevant support is here down to $245. Below 245, I literally don't really have any reliable bullish support level left. But it might hold it. I mean, Binance is now, and I bought some today, so just a few dollars higher. But I will scale in lower. Scale in all the way down to 245, but below 245, I will probably get out. Okay, because this is the last reliable bullish support. I don't have a lot of BNB, so I use this as an opportunity to add a bit to my portfolio. So just sort of, yeah. What kind of coffee do you drink? What's Kopi Luwak? I don't know what that is. No, it's been bought a new. I bought an espresso machine, so I've got a new one. So I've so just trying the different, cups, pads. Okay, BNB sorted. Let me just save it. And then I've seen requests for ADA. So, okay, so here we get some clarity now, as it seems. ADA is following, also here I said it only in today's video earlier today, that the preferred count would be another low. So I'm going to take now the bullish count off the chart. So it's finally following through to the downside here. There was a potential, but I didn't really believe it. You know that if you listen to the previous video. So we probably had a B wave top here, and then this was a wave 1 down, a wave 2 up. Maybe we come down now in a third wave of the C wave. Next bullish support is 33.3 cents. And as long as it's holding that, out of this particular structure, which I'm counting as a WXY, it can rally in a third wave. Now, you know that there is another bullish scenario in which price can drop all the way down to 27.6 cents. But below that level, I have no reliable bullish support left. So at the moment, I'm watching if price can hold 33.3. At the very least, I would expect a bit of a bounce from there, a bit of a recovery, and then we need to see if that's an impulse or not. So that's all, but ADA is going according to plan, but we've got some coins, I think, which are breaking. Okay, so, okay, Ethereum, did I cover Ethereum? Not yet, so let's do ETH. So Ethereum is similar to Bitcoin. Obviously, the count is very much aligned, right? We also said here that, okay, probably peaked there in the B wave on the 29th of May, and that we're waiting for a move down in that C wave. Looks like we had the wave 1 as a leading diagonal. Looks like we had the wave 2, and looks like we're now in the third wave, and it might have bottomed today in, not overall, but in the third wave of a third wave. So it might just be doing this fourth wave. It's a bit hard to draw the waves here because it's all happened so quickly today. It should do something like that. Okay, and then still come down a little bit lower. So I'm looking forward to that. Interestingly, Ethereum has so far avoided to break below the 12th of May low, whereas Bitcoin did, So yeah, so at the moment everything is going according to plan in the market, honestly. I mean, the problem is that some altcoins, I think, are suffering more than expected. But Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, spot on. Yeah, BNB, okay, moved down lower than expected, but also that new low was... Most coins were still expected to make another low because they just hadn't shown us any structure to the upside. Solana was one of the few that showed us a possible impulse, and QNT. Okay, so AMD asked for ARB. Yeah, but I did say it many times now. ARB is basically for me dead. Okay, because and already for the last few weeks it's been dead. That's why I'm not covering it. I covered it yesterday in the members live stream, but this is just following my count now. So the idea was, look, this must be an ABC or something. It's certainly not impulsive anymore because it lost bullish support. From the moment when it lost bullish support, I think it was $1.25, it became potentially bearish, and then it doesn't show any bullish tendencies. So also here, any rallies were corrective. Now it's making a new low, not yet below. So the last low we had and its last support is basically the dollar level. Honestly, if it goes below $1, it's just gonna go to, I don't know where it's gonna go. There is no support left. So I'm counting that as an impulse to the downside at the moment because it did lose bullish support. It's just one of them, one of the coins that was hyped. Yes, the project can be good, but it might just have been unfortunate timing. So from a chart point of view, I don't see anything bullish here. I saw an ascending wedge, we talked about that, and that broke to the downside. And I don't see anything bullish on the ARB chart. So until it shows as an impulse, followed by a 3-wave pullback, no. Okay, so Litecoin is also doing what we wanted. I just saw a request for LTC. So if you followed the last video, you know that we waited for that correction to the downside. Again, that was very strong today, but not stronger than it should have been. So price rallied into target area yesterday or Saturday and reacted to it, is now coming down in an impulse. I see that as an A wave currently, which should bounce back in a B wave at some point and then come down in a C wave to finish off this complete Elliott Wave triangle. So this sort of E wave is the last wave of the triangle, which would complete a wave 4. And within that, you normally expect an A, B, C correction. Now the A wave is already coming down very, very strongly. But yeah, let's see. As long as it doesn't break below 75.50, this count is valid and should then eventually rally to the upside. I just made a Litecoin video, so if you want some more detail where I calculated targets, check out that Litecoin video. By the way, it would be great if everybody who's here just could hit a like button. It would just help to make the stream a bit popular. And also, I've just realized, or I realized a while ago, many don't know we actually have more YouTube channels. So if anybody's interested in figuring out or finding out more about other assets like gold, silver, oil, net gas, I'll do my best to put an S&P 500 one on there as well. Again, but it's a lot of work with the S&P. And DXY we cover as well. Feel free to check out our second channel, More Trading Online. And for the German-speaking audience, we've got the German channel as well. So feel free to check that out as well. So there's a lot going on there. So a lot of people don't know that we actually have more than just one channel. So a few days ago, someone said, "All right, okay, I'm not going to support you anymore because you seem to be working for a company." But actually, no, I'm running it. Okay, so no worries, it's still me. Okay. So I just had a request for just VeChain quickly. So VeChain rallied into resistance, no sustained break above resistance. It's also following through here on the 5th wave. Next support, in my opinion, is 1.73 cents. And then we had, oh, thank you very much. No, who's that? Is it AMD? AMD? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, AMD. That's very kind of you. Okay, Pig Speller just asked about predictions for Litecoin. I don't know, I'm not really looking at the halving, but the idea is obviously that we're currently in a 4th wave, should get another 5th wave, and then we just need to see. I think it could rally maybe before the halving, and then you get a bit of a sell-off after the halving. I don't know, I haven't followed the halving cycles for Litecoin. And even if I did, we don't have enough data points to have a reliable database. So I'm just thinking the wave count suggests one more high. Let's see. But I don't trust Litecoin long term. It's not a good chart long term now. Oh yeah, Dogecoin. I've just seen a request for Doge. The good news is that Doge probably also sold off and is just doing what was forecasted, which was another low, which is good for the chart, believe it or not. Another low for Doge is good for the chart. Perfect. That's great. Just update the timestamp here. So Doge, the idea was we are now also coming down in this third wave. We peaked here in wave 2 on the 4th of April, and we're coming down in an ending diagonal. Highlighted to you, we were moving in a triangle here. That was probably B wave, expected to sell off in a C, happened. So now we have even broken below the trend line, which in my opinion is positive because it finally allows for that flush to happen to the downside. And the good news is, I mean, I want to see that because this is good for the chart. Again, believe it or not, but all the rallies of the June lows were corrective. So it's not really good bottoming structure. So maybe finally get that move below the 5 cent level and we could then restart the entire structure. So hopefully it's doing that. But yeah, so far no change, just playing out. Idea would still be to get to the 5 cent level. Ideally, what I could expect is probably at some point here a bit of a retest of that trend line from the downside, and then yeah, sort of sell off. And next support is probably here, that where we're currently in getting to support, this previous swing low around 6.3 cents, then the B wave low at 5.5, and then at 5 cents. What I do have to take off the chart now is the alternative 1-2 setup, because we've just made a new low. I'll take that out. So that just rather confirms my primary count, which is a sell-off in the 5th wave. In some kind of a weird chart, I'm sure it's possible to say, okay, this might be a 1. No, it's not. I mean, alternatively here, wave 2 or something, but completely forced count that would be. It's not a reliable count. Okay, and ETH BTC. So ETH BTC seems to be following just sort of the orange count, but it's not entirely clear yet. It just sort of keeps options open. Doesn't really look very clearly like third wave price action, but it's basically no change. I mean, if it breaks above that wave 1 high at 0.07, then yeah, it could rally in that third wave, but it's not really moved since the last update. So there's no significant change. Nothing's invalidated. Both options open. And I think it would still be likely that it follows the move down here, the white count. Let me just update the. But I will do another update on that. I want to, it's on my list for today to make another video for ETH BTC. And I will do a bit of a deeper dive into the subwave structure here. But I'll do that in a separate video later today. But it should, my view is still, it would be good for it to drop a bit lower. So, okay, AMD question. Okay, do you think it's a good time to enter Gala now or wait for another low? See, that's a question I can never answer, unfortunately. I can't, because this depends on so many factors. It just does. Yeah, it is certainly in support. So what I can tell you is that I think reward to risk is very favorable from here. In terms of long term, let me just update that. In terms of long term, I'm very careful with altcoins long term, because long term has shown that many altcoins are losing out over Bitcoin in the long run. Yeah, there are only very, very few coins which are actually outperforming Bitcoin. One of them is BNB. Maybe that changes now, I don't know. But yeah, long term, I'm very, very careful. I would see any altcoin position really only as trading position, unless you just have some lunch money to throw at them, where you can just sort of say, okay, I forget about it. And if it does a 10x, it's good. If not, then the money is gone. That's the problem with any coin, really. Yeah. So long term, I'd be careful. If you enter a swing trade, just be aware that as soon as it breaks below the 2.09 cent level, things are going to get very, very unclear and rather bearish. But it's in our high reward to risk. The structure down should be nearly complete. I obviously don't know if it's going to turn around. I think it has a good chance. But what I can also tell you is there is no sign it is bottomed yet. There is no sign. So you are going to catch the falling knife if you buy here, which could work out. But there's just nothing in the chart that tells me with confidence that Gala has bottomed. So hopefully that helps. You could wait for a first 5-wave move up and a 3-wave move down. Then at least we have a confirmation the trend has shifted. You could split your order. You could say, okay, I buy a little bit now, and if the trend turns around, I buy again in a setback. But yeah, ultimately, because buying decisions depend on your portfolio, your strategy, so many other things, your risk appetite, and I can't legally give you any advice, unfortunately. Yeah, need to be very careful with that. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend any altcoin really for the long term, to be honest, because as trading position, yes, I have altcoins in my HODL portfolio, but I know about the risk. So yeah. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Right. Oh dear, Link. This might actually be breaking to the downside. Let's have a look at Link. Okay, it's still holding the $6 level, still holding the range it's been for a year. But okay, so this is obviously getting challenged now. Here again, same story. It needs to hold. I mean, this might have been triangle this way for. Okay. But then literally it must turn around here. Now it shouldn't say it must turn around here, but to really keep the upside potential alive, it should really turn around here. If we get a sustained break below $6, then it's likely going to go to 530, and if it's doing that, it's going to break likely. Yeah. So again, here we've got the potential for a bullish count, which would be the move up from here. Phenomenal reward to risk ratio, but obviously getting challenged, the bullish case now, because below $6 probabilities shift very, very significantly into the region of, okay, we're going to make a new low into the 290 to 350 range, because then this Elliott Wave triangle, which we have on the chart in blue, is going to break to the downside. Okay, so yeah, this is Link. Okay, so just a question here about Uniswap. Okay, so Uniswap seems to be following through to the downside. Based on the Elliott Wave count, it would have been nice to see maybe a small E wave up before the breakdown, but we then have to assume that wave D was already in here, wave E already here, and yeah, the idea was to follow through to the downside anyway, which is doing. So probably we had a triangle breakout here, and it could now be in its fifth wave, and the minimum target would be a break below $3.31. So there's no surprises, and also just would have liked to see a little bit of a clearer triangle, but that's fine. Just following through. It's just not, this was just not a bullish structure. So another low was expected because of the lack in impulsive rallies to the upside. Yeah, Illuvium, the chart is just dead. So I'm not gonna, talked about that before. It's a lifetime downtrend. It's not gonna, don't know what it's doing. Okay, Edgex. So charts that never created an impulse in their lifetime, like Illuvium, they are just sort of dead until they show something. And bear in mind, most coins are dead. Yeah, then most coins are. Okay, so nice. The Edgex also following through, making on its way to another low. Rallied nicely into resistance. So this was the area where I said, okay, as long as we stay below 34.5 cents, another low is expected, and likely support around 22.7 cents. And below that, we've got 17.3 cents. And only below that level, I would become I mean, I'm skeptical about this chart. It's not a great chart. That's why it's yellow, because it's not like clearly impulsive on the way up. But as long as it's holding 17.3 cents, it can give us a third wave rally. Okay, so maybe together with Bitcoin. Just need to move that across here. And by the way, if anybody is new here, please hit the like button. It would really help the live stream and the channel out a lot. Thank you. Okay, so that's Edgex. So just following through, and until we see here an impulsive move above the wave 4 high, which was at 33.5 cents, we don't have a signal that the trend is changing. Okay, so this is still active downtrend. Okay, AVAX. Wow. Okay. This was bad. Okay. So here we had a potential. It could have finished the correction. Obviously it didn't, because I tracked that. Said even though it's not the most beautiful impulse, and even though it broke briefly support, this could have been a 1-2 setup, but failed to hold $14.09. So the idea that this could have been the first impulse to the upside didn't work. But bear in mind what I said in the last video. We were here in resistance. We had a pattern complete, so a pullback is expected. Now that obviously low, but it broke below support. So this made a new low, which is not a disaster, because it still has space. So as long as it's holding 12.99, the structure is still, it gives us still room for a likely turnaround. Okay, so just take out the previous support levels and everything. Don't need them anymore. And this was not a wave 1. So what is it then? 3, 4, 5. I would need to go through the entire count again, probably. You know, probably need a bit of time to count this, but certainly the low wasn't in. Just need to figure out how to put this together. What is the next likely count, which makes sense now. Okay, I don't know. I need to think about that. Okay, but 12.99 is here relevant support. Okay, very, very important. Probably we had the third wave here, but just need to see how that all fits then. Fourth here and fifth here. I don't know. I'm just placing them now. I need to look at that in detail later. Probably like that, but need to figure that out. And then a nice 3-wave move up in wave 4, and now the last move down. But this is quite aggressive. So yeah, I'm not sure if 12.99 is holding. So this is, I mean, if Bitcoin really goes to whatever 24.5, 25k, then some of these will break their support. Which again, it wouldn't invalidate further upside. It would just make it less likely below 12.99. Okay, no Mary. We haven't done Ocean yet. Yeah, we can look at Ocean. So let's take a look at Ocean. By the way, if any of you are interested in some more updates, anybody who's not in the channel membership, feel free to check out our membership. There's daily signals. You can get access to these live charts. Yeah. Basically, you see when I make changes and everything. We do weekly live stream. You can learn Elliott Wave. All of that stuff is included in the membership and even more. So feel free to check that out. Yeah, okay. So also here, Ocean, no surprises. So I think, I can't remember when we talked about Ocean, but before we just also here do the timestamp. Is it the 5th today? I think it is. Yeah. So yeah, the idea was here, wave W, wave X might have peaked now. We've got at least some evidence that it peaked, and it's not looking too bad. It's probably now coming down in this Y wave, and probably should find some support around the 61.8 retracement, around 29.3 cents. And if it's breaking below that, then we've got 21.5 cents. But below that level, there's no bullish support left. So, I mean, there is bullish support left, but nothing reliable. And that's typically when the probabilities shift towards a new bear market low. But until then, and it still has space. So, I'm talking about, this doesn't look too bad. This could still drop another 30% without getting into trouble, okay? Okay, so Q&T. Yeah, so Q&T, we were waiting for price to finish its. So this is one of the coins that certainly could have bottomed here on the 25th of May, 26th. It is one of the coins that showed a potential impulse. Yeah. And after this impulse, we were waiting for this wave 2. So I did highlight to you now a few times that this is sort of where the wave up could be complete, but we had no evidence. For me, the evidence was a break below $114.60, I think. So we've got that evidence that the rally peaked. We're now coming down in wave 2. It should be a 3-wave move. We should ideally go down to at least 108.24, ideally. So it might be that we're now working on the A wave. We should then get a B wave bounce and come down in C. That would be ideal. Either way, I'd like to see a clearer or a deeper correction, but to really keep upside potential alive, we want it to hold the 78.6 Fib level at a 101.50. So here we've got a potential first 1-2 setup for the rally higher. And but yeah, obviously it's at the moment, this is the moment of truth. Yeah, so we had, after the long downtrend, a first possible impulse, now the first pullback, and this is the moment of truth. If it drops below 101.56, then it will probably come into the originally anticipated support area here below $97. Okay, Litecoin I covered already, Mother Earth, but I also made a video today, so there's no change. I'm not sure what you mean, Thomas, with Matic. What do you mean with Matic? Wrong chart. Matic is finally also following through, as it seems. Yeah, idea was we're coming down. Might have done the A wave here already. This might be the B. And we're coming down in wave C already. So if you've been following the last videos, you'll know that also here another low sort of was anticipated, yeah, in this 5th wave. And important support is here 82 cents. But below that level, we've got this larger support area between 68 and 76 cents. So no, Thomas, we're not at 60 cents yet. But Matic could get into this region here. So that's the idea, between 68 and 76. Okay, that's Matic coming down in an ABC. That's all fine. Okay, then INJ. Let's have a look. INJ is an extremely unclear chart. It's just moving in threes, which means it's just moving in corrective patterns, up and down and up and down. Okay, so this dropped below the ideal support. But it's obviously, so first of all, with INJ, this is moving in a trend channel. So as long as it's holding the trend line, I think it can survive and climb higher. But it's obviously now being challenged. It's not a great chart. It isn't. Because here I've got either the yellow count, which is a diagonal pattern, which would be bullish, but it's always uncertain, these diagonals. So it's not like an impulse. And I'm skeptical about this chart, and because of that. Or I can simply count a WXY correction complete, which would then result in an impulse and new bear market lows. We did say in previous videos that as long as we're holding the trend line, we would be in favor of the yellow count, so can get one more high. But below that trend line, we have to assume that we topped in the Y wave and we're actually coming down. Problem is already now here, but again, I provided a support area, but this broke today. Again, it's in orange, so it means it's at higher risk of breaking anyway. So I'll take that off now. It means that the idea that we are here in a WXY correction. That might be okay, but the idea that we had already W and X complete and we're now in the Y up probably was not how it worked out. So still, I don't see a reason why this couldn't be either way. I mean, this is extremely challenging because this is just moving in corrections. There's no impulse, okay? So important is for it either way to hold the trend line. If it's doing that, it can rally higher in this A wave, then a B down, and a C wave up, and it should complete the wave 5. But this is a count that you have to expect, or you have to expect that this count will change because it's corrective. It's deep. It's whatever, we are moving in corrections, and within the corrections, you've got even more corrections. So there's absolutely nothing impulsive about this chart, and therefore this is so uncertain. So keep an eye on the trend line. I think that's the best we have actually. Okay, so XRP for crypto bullion was the question. I'm actually happy because XRP saw a rejection where we wanted it. Yep. So it perfectly maxed out yesterday resistance to 54.7 cents and is now following through to the downside. I am not sure if this is the correct count, obviously, right? I mean, we had a wave 1 down, a wave 2 to the upside into resistance, and the third wave down would be what's expected now. But if I look at Bitcoin, I mean, Bitcoin is not going to drop that much. I don't think so, and XRP to fulfill this count would need to drop another 40%. It's other coins can't drop that much more. It would be pretty much alone, but at least at the moment it follows our count. And what now needs to happen, it ideally is holding now this below this swing high, yesterday's high, and would follow to the downside. But I expect this count to change. There is no better count available at the moment, I think. There's the bullish count, which would be 1212, which I don't trust as well. Again, it's one of the coins which is just moving in 3 waves, up and down and up and down. But we are looking at the different counts. We're using the pivot points they reveal, and it would need to follow through now. But I'm skeptical because it just doesn't fit into the remaining crypto market now. So for me, it's still like downside as long as we stay below 54.7 cents, with next major support areas being 44 and 41 cents. And if we get a break above 54.7, that would unlock prices all the way to 58 cents in the first place, and then over 70, where we will have the next decision point. So let's see. Gala I covered already today. I've just seen a question about Gala. Okay, I just saw a request for Sweatcoin. I mean, thank you, Bada, but I don't know what that coin is. Sweatcoin. Can have a look. I don't know what the longest chart history is. Okay, so that's a quick one, because this is a lifetime downtrend. So there's no Elliott Wave count you can do on this one because it's just moving down. So it's basically lost all support and could easily go to 0. So this needs to show us an impulse to the upside, or there is nothing we can do. It's just a downtrend, and there's no target and no support because it's basically heading to 0. Okay, there's nothing. That's just I would say avoid these lifetime downtrends. That's what I do, at least. You easily can identify them because they've never rallied. Okay, it's just unfortunately what it is. So there were quite a few coins like that. Silica I did already. Silica. Did I do Silica? No, I didn't. Let's do Silica. Okay, also here, still in support, Silica. We said it's a potential wave 1 to the upside, A wave down, B wave up, C wave down, and as long as it's holding 1.88 cents, this is okay and can still rally, okay. But but the break below 1.88 cents would probably lead to new bear market low. So that remains bullish support. Obviously getting challenged, the bullish thesis, and it's coming down quite hard. So, but we know that cryptos can always turn around at an instant, right? Just be aware that this is like a straight line. Sometimes, I mean, again, with this wave too low, it is not invalidated. So the idea of further upside is not invalidated below the 78.6 retracement. It's just that from my experience, if a price breaks and sustains below the 78.6 fib level, you typically don't see a positive outcome. Okay. All right, let's do Fed. Thanks, Dan. Fetch. Oh, that was what's going on here? What's going on here? All right, so Fetch FET probably hasn't bottomed, because here also we had the idea that, okay, we came down, we hit the channel support. We could count the correction complete, which never means it is complete, but it means it basically has done what it needs to do. We had a possible impulse, said to you, okay, if it's holding 23.2 cents, this could still go higher from here. Yeah, so a possible 1-2 setup. Now, it's not broken. It's not broken, but I think it will break, okay? So let me take it off the chart. I think this will break. I think this hasn't bottomed yet, and it's most likely going to make a new low, unless it turns around now to the upside. So if this hasn't made a low yet and will make one more, then I would pay attention to the trend line, which is currently, if it came down now straight away, it might be around 20.5 cents. And similar to Edgex, I think it's the same price. As long as it's holding the 17.5 cent level, it still has a chance to rally. It seems like a lot of the altcoins are now trying to max out really the correction. Let's see. So all the potentials we had, I think the only potential left is really QNT and Solana. That already bottomed potentially, but all the other ones are probably going to just sort of going down further. But yeah, so next support here would be around 21.9 cent. Below that level, the trend line. Honestly, a break below this corrective price channel would have some bearish implications. Not good, but let's see. No, it seems like the impulse to the upside didn't materialize. It's not, you know, it's not all gone yet. It's not invalidated, but it probably will if Bitcoin goes a little bit further. So a few people asked for Harmony 1. And this is, if it doesn't turn around imminently, this is going to break. I mean, this is now in support. If this is not a wave 5 here, then this is a wave 3. And if it's a wave 3, it's going to break and will make a new low below a cent. Yeah. Or below, what is it? December low, below 0.009, whatever. But yeah, it's no confirmed low in place. Next chance of finding support is at 1.16 cents. Below that level, I think there's no hope left. I think then it will make a new bear market low. And that's not good for the chart anyway. So it's basically getting very nebulous then. So then what would be the bearish count? Very simple. It would look strange, but it would have to be like that. Wave 1 down, wave 2 to the upside, wave 3 down, wave 4 up, wave 5 down. Not into the negative, obviously, yeah. So Hbar. So Hbar was also anticipated to make another low, but it's unfortunately going a bit too deep now. Not invalidated any further upside. It's still in the support region. We knew it might go a little lower. That's why I added the 88.7 fib level here. But it's a bit of a wait and see here now. Also, you know, no confirmed, maybe this was the B wave. No confirmed bottom in place yet. Next support is now 4.3 cents. Below that level, well, below that level, the only support that's left is the bear market low so far at 3.5 cents. So that's where we are with Hbar. Let's do render. Only cover Bitcoin and Doge, yeah, they matter. Bitcoin anyway, but okay, so render is pushing down, yeah, is coming down lower, and probably will get into this region. So again, here all upside potential is gone. The signal here for it to break was at 259, I think, wasn't it? So that broke. So what is it? It's probably in the Y wave. I think we talked about that in the previous video. Here, wave W, X, and Y probably, but I need to look at that in detail. I will update in the next video. But relevant support here is between 228 and 191. I'll make a video on render today anyway. Okay, so a few people asked to go back to Bitcoin, so let's see, but I think nothing happened. Let me just delete these all. By the way, as a channel member, you get access to all these live charts if you're silver or gold member, because I know a few people always like to be updated, just in case you don't know. So BTC Coinbase. Yeah, so the price hasn't literally not moved, but it, as I said in the beginning of the stream, it might have bottomed today here in the third wave of a third wave. There's not really any point at the moment doing an even more detailed micro count because things happen so quickly, but what I could imagine is maybe it did the third wave, maybe it did already the fourth, and could now come down in the fifth wave. So as I said to you, over the last few days, relevant support was 25.3k. We basically came nearly to that level already, but I would like to see price somewhere around 24 and a half, as it seems, maybe a little lower. Doesn't need to go down that low. It doesn't need to go down that low. But what is certainly a metric that's worth observing is the daily RSI on the Bitcoin chart. So this is not oversold yet. And I'm not saying it needs to get oversold, but if price can hold above the 10th of, what was it? 10th of March low, which it seems to be doing, and get very close to it with the daily RSI, that is a interesting bottom signal, okay? That's typically when price has turned around before. Now, this is one of the few reliable signals really where I would trust an indicator. It's the daily RSI on the Bitcoin chart. And when too many people have figured out that it works, it will not work anymore. But at the moment, it still works. It's not reliable for overbought, but it is for oversold. Daily Bitcoin. So it's now at 36. That's pretty good. That's the lowest it's been since the 10th of March. So let's see. I'm not saying it needs to go down all the way to 30. Maybe it won't. But when it gets close and price shows some signals, that's going to be interesting. Okay, so question about DOT. Oops. Yeah, Pepe I think is also coming down further. So it's just, I don't know, time to get out. Maybe. Okay, DOT was also looking to make another low because the structure was just corrective. It peaked here in resistance and it's now coming down. This looks like it might break below 485. So I will already now at the 88.7 FIB level. It's not a level I like to use, but sort of the last one we have at 455. I think it will get there the way it looks. It comes down very strongly. So 485 is for me always the last reliable bullish support level. Below that, we only have the 88.7 fib level left, and that's typically a more or less unreliable one. Of course, you can still find support there. It's just typically when I compare different setups and the price failed to hold the 78.6 fib, it's likely going to fail. So yeah, unfortunately, this all is, I mean, don't get me wrong, DOT was supposed to do another low, or not supposed to, but price action suggested it, but it's coming down very strongly now. So yeah, I mean, few questions about Pepe. I mean, Pepe is a meme coin which will probably die at some point, but we did cover it, and I said as long as it's holding the 78.6 fib, there's still a chance, but it is probably going to die. This is just at the brink of collapse now. Okay, it's 78.6 fib here, just where it is now. If it drops any lower, that's it. And it's uncertain anyway with these, and until it now shows a reversal signal, I mean, it's probably it. It can always come up again, but again, it's not a reliable one anyway. But we have 3 waves up, yeah, WXY, and the idea was, okay, this could be a 1, 2, 3, and then here the wave 4, but it would need to rally in the wave 5, and it really only do that as long as we're holding the 50% fib level. Below that level, it is basically shifting probabilities and has probably topped just in 3 waves. So it's anyway, it's a high risk one, okay. Okay, question about Optimism. Optimism is good that I warned about it a while ago, because this is probably just sort of dying. Not saying it's dying, but I warned about that a while ago. I think when we had the 176 level break, I think 176, I did update the count and said, look, this is now getting a very, very, very uncertain chart, and it's now and the next or the last reliable bullish support level here is $1.19, which it might break as well. So this has become something unreliable when it broke 176. So I'm not covering it anymore, because this is just a high risk one now, which may break. Until it shows an impulse, it's nothing attractive, Optimism. So it can still be a wave 1, 2 here with an A, B, C in wave 3 as a diagonal, but it needs to hold 119, and it's just not a reliable chart, no impulse. Okay, so it's just something a bit for, yeah, I don't know. So EGLD had a few questions here about EGLD. It's also not a chart that's very attractive, so I don't cover it very often, but I do cover it from time to time, and I know we were waiting for another low. Here, probably, there you go. So yeah, we said here, ideally, this would be the target range. We said there is a chance, as long as it's holding the $35 level, that it has bottomed. There's a chance, there's always a chance, but primary expectation would be another low into the yellow box between $6.50 and somewhere $22. Ideally, based on fib extensions, I think it will break below support, so I think it will at least go lower. Okay, if it will get into the yellow box, I don't know, but certainly also here, first of all, it's not an attractive chart. It's long-term, unclear, I would say, because but I explained that in previous videos. This is just in the best case a wave 1 with an A overshooting B wave and a C wave down, or just a larger ABC to the upside, which would be questionable and nebulous. But yeah, EGLD, there was no and there is no clear setup, so either it's rallying now or it will probably come down into the region around first $26, $27, which is sort of the trend line here. Yeah, and then maybe lower, but no sign it's reversed at this stage. So, okay, I think we covered, it's been an hour now, so I need to get some dinner now, and I'll probably have to close the stream now. I think I covered tons of charts. Thanks all for joining, but I have to finish at some point. I have to get some dinner now. I'm hungry. And then I don't know if I'll do another stream later. It was nice, when some stuff is going on, but we'll see. Or just some videos, we'll see. I'll certainly keep you updated. But forgot completely about the time. But I need to get some something to eat. And then thanks for joining, and hope you enjoyed it. And I'll keep you updated anyway. You know that. And if you want more updates, feel free to check out the membership. There's just literally signals being pushed out every day, and you get access to all the charts. And also don't forget to check out our More Trading Online sister channel. And for all German speakers, check out the German channel as well. So there's other stuff going on as well around MCO. But yeah, thanks all for joining, and see you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.